All right, let's talk about something that's quietly draining your wealth right this very second. Yep, it's inflation. And today we're going to break down exactly what it's doing to your money using a pretty simple metaphor. And more importantly, what you can do about it. You know that feeling, right? When you're at the checkout or you're booking a trip and you just get this sense that your money doesn't stretch as far as it used to. Well, you're not going crazy. That's a real thing. And we're going to get into exactly why that's happening. Okay, so to really get a handle on this, I want you to imagine something. Picture all your money, your savings, your ability to buy stuff as water filling up a bathtub. Nice and simple. That tub, that's basically your entire financial life. So the tub looks pretty good, right? But here's the thing. There's a hidden problem, a sneaky one, and it affects literally everyone, whether you see it or not. Now, this isn't some huge, dramatic burst pipe. Nope, it's more like a tiny, almost silent drip. Drip, drip. But it never stops. And that constant drip is slowly, but surely draining the water, your wealth, right out of your tub. And that sneaky little leak, well, it's got a name, inflation. That's the fancy economic term for it. But all it really means is that as prices for everything go up, the power of your money goes down. It's the hole in our bathtub. Okay, so we've found the leak. But what happens if you just ignore it? What's the actual damage? Let's take a look. I know it seems like just a tiny drip. How bad can it really be? Well, over time, that tiny drip can cause a ton of damage. See, if your money is just sitting in a bank account, not doing anything, it's a sitting duck. That drip, drip, drip means the water level in your tub is constantly going down. So even though the number in your account looks the same, your actual wealth is shrinking. Let's put some real numbers to this. See that? $800. That's about what $1,000 from just 10 years ago can buy you today. Think about that. You lost 20% of its value just by letting it sit there. You didn't even spend it. That's how powerful that little leak is. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. Not at all. There's a totally different approach, a way to not just stop the drain, but to actually come out ahead. This is kind of like the investor's secret weapon. And it all starts with a huge shift in thinking. See, instead of just helplessly watching the water level drop, investors ask a totally different question. They ask, okay, how can I start pouring water back into the tub, maybe even faster than it's leaking out? This quote really nails it. You can't just wish the leak away. Inflation is pretty much always going to be there. So the whole game becomes about being proactive. It's about grabbing a bucket and getting to work refilling the tub yourself. So how do you do that? How do you start refilling? Well, in our little bathtub world, it's a simple 3-step process. First, you gotta grab your buckets. Then you find the investment pool, which is just the big ol' economy where growth is happening. And finally, you just start scooping. You start putting that money to work. So what are these buckets? They're things you've heard of. Stocks, ETFs, stuff like that. Just think of them as the tools you use to scoop up some of the growth from the economy. When you own a tiny piece of a great company or a slice of the whole market, you're basically taking water from that big pool and pouring it right back into your own bathtub. All right, so now we have 2 totally different playbooks, right? And they lead to 2 wildly different results. Let's actually put them side by side and see what happens. And this is where the paths just completely split. On one side, you've got the non-investor. Their tub is just slowly draining away, year after year. But the investor, they change the whole game. They're actively pouring water back in, creating a flow that doesn't just cancel out the leak, it can actually make the water level rise a lot. And look at this. This is what it looks like over time. That bar on the left, that's the draining tub. The real value is going down. The bar on the right, that's the investor's tub. Not only is it not draining, it's actually getting fuller. It's the difference between a leaky tub and an overflowing one. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The goal isn't just to plug the leak. The goal is to pour water in faster than it's leaking out. Investing is all about making your money grow at a rate that beats that constant drip of inflation. When you boil it all down, it's really this simple. You have to make your money work harder than inflation does. That's it. It's a race, and investing is how you win. So I'll just leave you with this one question, because here's the thing. Every single one of our bathtubs is leaking. That's just a fact. The only question that really matters is, what are you doing to refill yours?